Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, and I just got to tell you this: the fact that my experts in my weekly expert series take this so seriously, that they're willing to continue the streaks, like lots of our guests make the weekly streak ongoing. Second, they often take it while on vacation, as Mr. Stephen Dow is doing right now, and even more impressive, it is 5 a.m. where he is at. He's in the lovely state of Hawaii and still got up. Yeah. So how you doing, Mr. Stephen Dow?
Oh, you know what? I'm feeling really good. Finally got some much needed R&R.
Yeah. Of
Even though I am taking emails and phone calls and texts,
course you are.
at the beach. Of course I am. But otherwise, definitely got to see the sun. I don't know if you could tell. I don't look
Yeah,
like
look,
an
got a little
Asian
color.
vampire anymore. Yeah. So it's yeah. But in any case, no, it's been great. The weather's been great. Eating like
Yeah,
crazy and yeah, just enjoying myself. But
good for
no,
you.
really wanted to continue the streak. I see you, every day, every week when
Yeah.
you're on vacation and when you're not feeling good. So inspirational to say the least to kind of,
I
keep it going.
appreciate
So
that.
it's just yeah. But
I
anyway,
appreciate.
wanted to do my part with the one run at a time family. And so let's get it going.
There you go. Well, one of the things I think we should talk about, because again, I think it's very clear the housing market is slowing down. We called it. Transactions are crashing. I am directly marketing to owners of multiple properties myself. I
Hmm.
think, I think over time, and we're talking months, there's going to be more and more one rental at a time fans, students, followers who have the opportunity to buy multiple properties from one seller.
Right.
Lots of people don't know how to handle it. They think they have to do one loan per property, all of those things.
Right.
There is something that I've done. I have several what's called blanket loans, sometimes called portfolio loans. So why don't
Right.
we talk about what a blanket loan is, how it could play, how people can use it? There's some markets where housing is really cheap, where blanket
Right.
loans are only options. Uh,
Hmm.
but again, a blanket loan is a pretty powerful tool if you understand it. So, Stephen, do me a favor, do the marketing thing, which I almost forgot, and then let's define what a blanket loan is.
I was going to remind you, even though it is 5 a.m. this, over here where I'm at, I did remember. Any case, although I work very happily for Velocity Mortgage Capital, not at the moment because I'm on vacation. All the ideas and topics discussed on this channel are that of my own. So let's get it going.
Yeah. So do me a favor, define what a
Yeah,
blanket loan is and why it is such a powerful tool for some investors.
certainly. So a blanket or portfolio loan typically just, for layman's terms, it's just when you're financing one or more properties with one loan.
Mhm.
So then you could blanket, multiple properties for the same transaction instead of doing separate transactions. So that's usually most useful in the case of, depending upon if you're a buyer and you just want to deal with so many mortgage payments. That's just more personal choice. But from the business aspect, it's much more user friendly in the sense of typically people use it in the smaller dollar amount,
Mhm.
kind of situations where some lenders just won't touch it because it's just too small. But
Right.
we can do those where we can group together smaller loans into one larger loan and then kind of, take it down that way. So we would allow you to do multiple properties under the same borrower and close them concurrently. We would just only want them to all be from the same seller,
Mhm.
typically, just because of the whole,
Yeah.
organizing and stuff like that. And then also only be in the same state. Otherwise, it could be anything from a 1 to 4 unit that you can group together or blanket. So you can have a group of 3 single families with a couple of duplexes, a fourplex, and a triplex, all mixing together. If they're all from the same seller, we can do it.
Nice.
So typically, our minimum requirement per property as far as value is 50,000 or more. So if you got a combined at least two properties valued at 50,000 or more, the combined value is 100,000.
Hmm.
And against our max LTV of 75%, that would meet our minimum loan requirement of 75,000.
Okay.
So there's definitely pros with it in the sense of you can reduce some of the closing costs as well because we're
Hmm.
getting multiple transactions from the same borrower.
Hmm.
Also, again, one mortgage payment instead of multiple.
Yeah.
There are certain, I guess you could say, ramifications if you do a blanket loan that
Hmm.
if down the road you wanted to sell one separately or refinance one separately from the group, you wouldn't be able to because they don't do partial releases. But in that same kind of, thought process, you're not going to be able to sell one or refinance off separately just because it's so small, unless somebody
Sure.
buys all cash, something like that. But that's what we're looking at. But it's very useful, especially in this kind of market, because I'm seeing, some landlords just like, I'm done, or
Yeah.
owners, I just want to get rid of all of them. So you can't take one, you got to take them all. So
Yeah.
we're working on a couple of actual blanket loans now. So I've done several for one at a time family because there's not many people that'll touch that small of a property.
Yeah, and again, this is what I think is coming, right? Again, I think a real estate slowdown. I think there's going to be years of transaction slowdown. Transaction slowdown means that sellers or owners who they eventually make that choice, right? And they're like,
Right.
I'm done.
Mhm.
And I think the more and more one rental at a time students, family understand the kind of pieces and parts of a portfolio loan, it just
Yeah.
gives them another tool. It won't always work.
100%.
Doesn't work
Nope.
for all sellers. It's not right for every
Mm-mm.
situation, but it's
Mm-mm.
another tool on the tool belt. And for example, with something that Olivia and I did about a year and a half or 2 years ago is we found a
Mhm.
seller who wanted to sell 2 fourplexes, a triplex, and 4 houses. That's 15, right? 8, 11. Yeah, 15. He sold us 15 units and he wanted to do it one transaction, one payment, sell them all together. Um, and a portfolio loan was the right answer. And again, this was a situation where we could come in with 30%, I think was what we came in with, and then got a portfolio loan. It fits the right situation. And again, what I'm doing is marketing to owners with plenty of equity. I
Right.
fully expect over the next year or so to have multiple sellers say, hey, I won't sell you one, I'll sell you
Right.
everything. So
Right.
I look forward to that.
But in addition to the whole blanket loan aspect, you can also, execute the 50-40-10 on top of the blanket loan.
Of
So we
course.
did a couple of, I've done a couple of, pre-approvals where same situation, blanket loan, but they tried to do a 50-40-10. And I think there's something going on with the seller. They're just not understanding, but I think they're also trying to hold out for whatever reason for a better
Mhm.
price. But yeah, you can execute the 50-40-10 or
Mhm.
70-20-10, however you want it, even on a
Yeah.
blanket loan.
Yeah.
So it definitely still works. And on top of that, and I think that'll be in video too, seller concessions on top
Yeah.
of that. So they can credit towards your non-recurring closing costs on top of doing the blanket, on top of doing the 50-40-10, on top of the, state
Yeah.
income, holding titles and entities. So a lot of different advantages with non-QM. So I just wanted to remind people because we've been on the channel very long or for
Yeah.
quite some time, but sometimes people forget.
No, I think blanket loans are a tool. I think all of my followers and students, I would want them to understand what it is, i.e., multiple
Hmm.
properties, one loan.
Hmm.
Understand. So that's one tool. Please understand it.
Right.
Second tool is the 50-40-10, which you and I created from nowhere. It
Yep.
allows you to get into an asset with 10% down, 90% combined loan to value. We did a deep dive
Hmm.
on a Saturday for everybody and gave it away. I'm spending 900, call it $1,000 a month marketing to
Right.
owners that fit 50-40-10 because I'm going to try to get one of those done just to show it's possible. And oh, by the way,
Right.
students have already done it. They beat us.
Yeah,
They did it.
I know.
We've already had a couple close. So
Oh,
uh, it,
100%.
it's fun to see. So again, blanket loans
That,
are
that
possible.
one, I think we talked last time, the 48-42-10 is
Mhm.
closing.
Yeah,
They're signing docs this week. So yeah,
that's
that's for sure. They're out there. It's
that
just, you
is
got to do
awesome.
the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to believe. I think there's still a lot of people that hear us talk about blanket loans and seller financing. They're like, that's not possible. You're lying. What are
I,
you talking
I
about?
think, yeah, I don't know if they're in disbelief as it is just not aware or knowledgeable. Because once they understand that it's the possibility and just the fact that when explaining it, it's not like a unicorn. Like, oh, wait, I thought that was imaginary. It's just kind of simple
Yeah.
concept. We're just doing it differently. But yeah, I like to kind of.
I think the biggest thing is
Uh-huh.
they wouldn't do it, so they assume nobody else would do it. Like, why would I give a 2% loan to somebody I don't know? I would never do that. Well,
Right, right,
most sellers aren't you. Plenty of
right,
sellers, right? If you give a seller an extra 50 grand, but you lower the payment, you both win. So
right.
yeah, stop taking your personal
Experiences
apprehension
and
or
right, right.
misunderstanding and force them on others. Seller
Right.
financing has been around for decades, probably hundreds of years. So it
since
it,
since
it
it
is
started. What do you mean? I mean,
yeah.
sellers can do whatever. That's their property, so it's
Yeah.
been in existence since the first person sold their cave to
Yeah.
another caveman.
There you go. Well, Stephen, do me a
um,
favor. If somebody wanted to reach out and get the pieces and parts of a blanket loan, understand
yeah,
how you can help them, how you want them to reach out.
email is probably the best. Right now, I'm in Hawaii, so the time zone's a little different. So
Mhm.
email is gonna be best. Trying to reach me at 4 in the morning, you're probably not gonna get an answer.
Yeah.
But again, I just want to keep this
Let me
streak
ask.
going.
Let me ask you this: when are
Mhm.
you home? When are you coming home?
Monday night But
right.
I mean, I'm gonna be around. Oh, and also I got a team anyway, so you
Yeah,
know, we've got
we'll take
it
care
all
of it.
kind of covered. Yeah.
There you go.
So SDAO at velocitymortgage.com. In the subject line, please put the acronym ORAAT, which stands for One Red All the Time. Body of the email, simple description, what you're looking for. Property address would be great. At least maybe city and state, just to make sure we lend there. Mid FICO score, best phone number to reach at, and I'll be typically in touch within 24, 48 hours. Maybe not this time around.
Soon,
Probably
next week.
yes. No, it'll be this week. It just might not be 24 to 48 hours. It might not be me. It might be somebody on my team. So,
Yeah.
but we definitely got you covered.
There you go. Thank you very much for all you do, and thanks for getting up early.
Thanks, Mike.